Alright, hello, welcome back. And this time Sleepy has decided I'll just call instead of Naja, which I'm pretty sure it can be pronounced as Naja, is Naya. I'm gonna get corrected hard by whoever sees this video. Naya snarled, putting emphasis on his words by curing her tight grasp around Horcrux's neck, causing him to squeak in pain. But this alliance needs him. You need him. He's been the one that has been keeping our trades sponsored and your clan fed. He's been giving you the resources our people have been desperately needing since this war began. Hundreds of hungry mouths are the cost of snapping the Baron's neck. Would you doom your clan to starvation in your rage? Naya slowly settled her snarling as the bear talked sense to her. Her grip loosened. Her grip loosened. Joku died with honor, like his father. He sacrificed himself for the greater good. I think a lot of people have died for the greater good, you know, for the greater sacrifice, and usually it ends up as something regretted. Naya swiftly backhanded Karm's muzzle, causing him to stagger. She let go of Horcrux, leaning down to eye level with the general. Don't you dare speak of honor to me. Joku's father and his men were the first casualties since this damn war began. Naya grabs Karm. I think it's Korm. Naya grabs Korm by the scruff of his armored collar. Or did you forget who it was that protected your ass when you retreated with your king? The bear grips... Oh wait. Yeah, the bear gripped hold of the lioness' wrist to pry it off of him. No, I didn't. That's why I've made precautions around our territory since then. A distant battle cry echoed down the corridor. The raging sounds of ungodly roars began to draw closer. Naya's lips curled in a distasteful snarl at the sound of these haunting chorus looming in. Spite and dread sunk deep into her eye at the monster's roars. And if you wish to keep your territory safe, your people fed, you'd best watch your tongue. Both lioness and bears growled intensely toward one another. Naya swatted his grip from her wrists. Chrome glared up. If you think wars can be won with honor and brute strength alone, then you are living in a fool's dream. Wake up. We all lost something here, not just you. I can't really scream, I'm sorry, I'm not giving justice here. The general leans in to match her heavy gaze. If an opportunity presents itself, good soldiers must be ready to accept the risk this war brings. The general's words are choked out of him as Naya single-handedly hoisted him in the air by the scruff of his collar. She brought him to her eye level now, not his. And burying them alive is part of the deal? Did they know? Were they truly given warning to this risk? Rom's glaring eyes broke away from Naya, unable to talk himself out of the situation at hand. I think that is the problem. Yes, I get the risk, but you can't really speak so lightly of such matters, right? People dying for your war. Naya takes in... Oh god, Naya takes in Korn's silence as his better answer and swallows the harsh reality she was given. She tossed the general against a wall like a rag doll. Korm, I really hope I'm not butchering his name, braced himself against a stone as he gained his footing. Naya turned, staring past the blood-stained cast iron doors and into the darkness beyond. You fucking high lords might treat your men differently, but my clan is my family, not some pawns to be discarded. Naja began to march out, holding herself with a mighty strider's step. She always boasted pride in herself towards her colleagues and never dared to show the strain she shouldered, especially the emotional weight she bared. Get it? Bared? In front of a bear? There were meager vultures in her eye, just waiting for the opportune moment. The general snarls and barks out like a rabid dog, fuming after her. Naja, where do you think you're going? We're not finished here! Roar! To the vanguard with my men! Unlike you whelps, I don't intend to sit on my ass as this war goes on. Naja mumbled under her breath as she snatched hold of the iron door that blanketed the rhino guard, still utterly knocked out. Don't let the door hit you on my way out. Horkun choked and wheezed on the table as he staggered toward the general, whilst Naja tended to the broken door. General, I don't care who she is. I want that savage whore punished. Wait, what did she say? In that instantly, the bulky iron door slammed into the frail rooster and knocked him once again across the table. The group surrounding the table looked on in disbelief at Horkum before shooting their attention to Naja. The lioness, my god, sleepy. The lioness returned their shocked gaze with an expression of mock concern, shrugging. What? I gave him a warning, didn't I? Naja stormed off, leaving the war room in a state of damage and dread. Passing through the blood-red doorway, Naja stewed in her anger. Every room she passed only served to keep her rage constantly boiling to its brim. Well, Mummy got some issues and she bad. Naja trashed her way through onlooking guards, making her way from the central buildings. Her brooding composure left a sense of fear in her wake, each soldier scrambling from her death-bringing gaze. Several guards Naja had encountered on her way in, now decorated with sizable dents in their armor prior to her outburst. Understandably, they fled for their lives. Naja reached the main gate to the fortress. She glared up at the defense tower that operated the gate. After a brief moment, the impatient lioness roared at the top of her lungs. Open! I can't really scream. Open! Open this shit, bitch! The men in the tower jolted in fear before operating the gate wheel. The massive iron gate rocked open, greeting Naja to the setting red sun, and the familiar faces of her clan parked outside. A large gathering of barbaric animals, tigers, gorillas, vipers, vultures, etc., greeted Naja with eyes eager for their next order. Zuta, a battle-worn elderly wolf, stood next to Naya's primitive horse. He looked at her with great concern, as did everyone else, though he alone saw a distressing look on Naya's face. The look of defeat. Naja, how did it go up there? Should I prep our men for... Naja leapt up on her horse saddle with ease, roaring to her clansmen. We're heading out now! No one questioned Naya's orders. Swiftly trailing behind as her horse galloped ahead. Naja, I think Naja really works, right? Now Naja makes no sense. I don't know. I'll call it whatever. Naja and her tribe ventured out toward the wasteland, rushing away from the fortress. I think Naja now works for me. Naja, the lioness queen. I think Naja, yeah. Naja rode her warband aimlessly out into the decrepit wasteland. She and most of her clan were expecting a bloodbath. All things considered, the evening called forth for her full fury. But Naja couldn't think, let alone act, with the brewing storm clouding her thoughts. She didn't know what to expect that morning after hearing about her son's death. She could only remember the grotesque anger that fueled her march to the fortress. It left no time to mourn, nor room to grieve for the fallen. All that they've won from the day was a bleeding sun setting into a lifeless land of canyons and rubble. The rubble. The lioness's eyes flared with renewed savagery. She leaps off of her horse mid-gallop and pounces forth to the landfall. Her clan looked on with expressed confusion whilst primal fear guided her way. The sudden composition to run felt right for her. It was the only feeling worth being compelled by as more continued to flood in. Her heart was sinking to a new plane of anguish. Fear, heartache, loathing, these were all gifted to her by those she called her allies. All of these base emotions gushed violently, but at the mere glance of the canyon rubble, her mind was like that of a boiling pot, overflowing with heated thought and thriving remorse. Her people mindlessly slaughtered, their hunting cries lost to the wind. The fleeting thoughts of her baby boy. Every gruesome thought of the event swirled within her mind. All she could do was scream. Ah! Yeah, no. Her body began to tremble anxiously. There was no room for fear, though, only action. She knew better than to let her aggression consume her, but merely channel it. Right now, more than ever, she needed it all out right away. We'll attack a boulder. Naja is, after all, fear incarnate in the battlefield. The very ground would tremble beneath her talons. Never the other way around. She glanced frantically around to filter this fury of hers. Her mind and body wandered her far apart in action. A sickly dread swelled inside her throat, choking her like a pus-filled growth. Just being near a landslide sent her into a delusional frenzy. She heaved and chucked every boulder she found within the rubble, all the while in her mind's eyes she desperately tried to find her son within the pile. It was a pointless endeavor. Her people began to catch up with her, yet kept their distance from the flurry of rocks Naja tussled with. Everyone within that proximity ducked for cover as their leader hoists a boulder nearly equal to her in size and jetsons it beyond the horizon. Naja let out a primal roar, full of pure anguish and despair, leaving the very air itself trembling. She began to pace in circles as though trapped in her own mind, like a caged beast, her attention snapping aimlessly about as if actively seeking an enemy to war at. Her deranged eyes darted from the desert to the canyons to the sky and even to her own clan. She snapped back toward her horse and unlatched her spear. Concern hung on the brow of each member of the tribe as they watched their chieftain lose herself to madness. However, concern was elevated into panic as Naja aimed her spear directly at her own people. Without warning, she hurled the spear. Everyone in front ducked for cover, but the spear passed harmlessly over them. Every spectating eye was glued to the spear now, seeing where it was heading. A moment passed and the spear fell back to the ground, bringing a body-shaped mass with it. Somebody had been spying on them. Naja had cared not what colors it wore. She cared not for prying eyes above her warband. Zuta. Take your men and handle the damn spy. Do whatever you'd like with it. Pluck its feathers, gut it, stick its head on a spike. I want it to be a message to whomever thought it was wise to have eyes on us. Zuta nodded and waved his men down to hand out their orders. Naya's fist began to tremble. The rage within began to engulf her body and soul. Her outlandish attack may have proved therapeutic for that instance, but a swell of issues came ready to burst forth out of her. Grrrr! Yeah, I can't really scream. Grrrr! They call us savages. They call us primitives. Fodder to feed the flames of their petty war. Naja fed into her anger, peering down at the faces of those who followed her. She lashed out into the air, working herself into a guttural tirade. What are we worth to these fucking highborns? We risk life and limbs fighting on their behalf, and yet they treat us like fools. The sheer power from her roar spooks her horse away, even frightening a few horses within the front line. She anxiously begins pacing around in circles. The vile toxicity of her fury bled into her words. Wait, do we have no music here? No way. No, it's max. I'm just not hearing anything. We're worse than fools to them. We're fucking nothing. Nothing. Ugh. For every hardship we've endured in life, we are still seen as nothing to them. Yet they still take everything we've earned, yet give no empathy for their soldiers. For us,